Have you ever thought about what your smart home devices might be keeping from you? You might be shocked to find out that they could be sharing more than just convenience. Smart home devices have taken the modern world by storm, and it's not hard to see why. Who wouldn't want to turn on their lights or thermostat with just the sound of their voice? It's like having your own personal butler, minus the attitude and the need for a paycheck. But beneath the surface of this convenience lies a hidden risk, a risk that we're not often aware of. We're so caught up in the excitement of having smart devices that we rarely stop to think about what's really going on behind the scenes. What are these devices really doing with all the data they're collecting? And what happens if that data falls into the wrong hands? As we invite more and more of these devices into our homes, it's essential that we start asking ourselves some tough questions. What are we really getting in return for the convenience they offer? And what are the long-term implications of having these devices in our lives? When it comes to smart home devices, the main issue is privacy and security. These devices are constantly collecting data, and that data can be used in ways we might not even be aware of. Think about it, your smart speaker is listening to everything that's going on in your home, from your conversations to your TV habits. Your smart thermostat is tracking your daily routine, knowing when you're home and when you're away. It's a treasure trove of information, and if that information falls into the wrong hands, it could be disastrous. Take, for example, the story of a family who discovered that their smart speaker had been recording their conversations and sending them to a stranger. They had no idea it was happening until they received a creepy message from someone who claimed to have been listening in on their conversations. It's a scary thought, and it's happening more often than we think. Smart home devices are also a major target for hackers. In 2019, it was reported that hackers had breached the security of a popular smart doorbell, allowing them to see and hear everything that was happening on the other side of the door. And it's not just doorbells, hackers have been able to breach the security of smart thermostats, smart lights, and even smart refrigerators. The scariest part is that many of us are completely unaware of the risks we're taking by bringing these devices into our homes. We're so caught up in the convenience they offer that we're willing to overlook the potential risks. But the truth is, these risks are very real, and they're not going away anytime soon. One of the biggest concerns is the lack of regulation in the smart home industry. There's no one holding these companies accountable for the data they're collecting, and there's no one making sure that they're taking the necessary steps to protect that data. It's a wild west out there, and we're the ones who are suffering the consequences. Another major issue is the way these devices are communicating with each other. Many smart home devices are connected to the internet, which makes them vulnerable to hacking. It's like leaving your front door unlocked and inviting strangers to come on in. And then there's the issue of data collection. Many smart home devices are collecting more data than we're aware of, and that data is being used in ways we might not even imagine. Take, for example, the smart TV that's tracking everything you watch, from your favorite shows to the ads you're seeing. That data is being sold to advertisers, who are using it to target you with even more ads. It's not just TVs, either. Many smart devices are collecting data on our daily habits, from what time we wake up to what time we go to bed. It's a level of surveillance that's unprecedented, and it's happening right under our noses. But it's not all doom and gloom. By being aware of the risks, we can take steps to protect ourselves. We can start by doing our research, looking into the companies behind the devices and seeing how they're collecting and using our data. We can also take steps to secure our devices, like changing the default passwords and keeping our software up to date. Another important step is to be mindful of the devices we're bringing into our homes. Do we really need a smart toaster, or is it just a luxury we can live without? By being more mindful of our choices, we can reduce our risk of being hacked or having our data compromised. Smart home devices come in all shapes and sizes, from smart thermostats to smart doorbells. Each one collects data in its own way, and each one poses its own unique risks. Take, for example, smart security cameras, which are meant to keep our homes safe but can also be used to spy on us. There was a case where a smart security camera was hacked, allowing the hacker to see and hear everything that was happening in the home. The homeowner had no idea it was happening until they received a strange message from the hacker, taunting them about the fact that they were being watched. Smart home devices are also being used to collect data on our daily habits, from what time we wake up to what time we go to bed. This data is being used to create detailed profiles of us, profiles that can be used to target us with ads and even influence our behavior. One of the most well-known examples of this is the smart home device that was found to be collecting data on children's voices. The device, which was marketed as a way to help kids learn, was actually collecting their voices and using them to create targeted ads. It's a shocking example of just how far these companies will go to collect our data. But perhaps the most shocking example of all is the case of the smart device that was found to be spying on its users. The device, which was marketed as a way to help people stay connected, was actually collecting data on their conversations and selling it to third-party companies. It's a shocking breach of trust, and it's happening more often than we think. In 2019, a study found that many smart home devices were collecting data on their users without their knowledge or consent. The study found that many of these devices were collecting data on everything from our conversations to our browsing habits, and that data was being sold to third-party companies. It's a shocking reality, and it's one that we need to be aware of. By being aware of the risks, we can take steps to protect ourselves and our data. We can start by doing our research, looking into the companies behind the devices and seeing how they're collecting and using our data. We can also take steps to secure our devices, like changing the default passwords and keeping our software up to date. And we can be more mindful of the devices we're bringing into our homes, choosing devices that are transparent about their data collection and use. By taking these steps, we can reduce our risk of being hacked or having our data compromised. We can take back control of our data and our privacy, and we can start to build a safer, more secure smart home. So what can you do to protect yourself and your data? The first step is to be aware of the risks and to do your research. Look into the companies behind the devices and see how they're collecting and using your data. Second, take steps to secure your devices. Change the default passwords, keep your software up to date, and consider using a virtual private network, or VPN. By taking these steps, you can reduce your risk of being hacked and protect your data. Third, be mindful of the devices you're bringing into your home. Choose devices that are transparent about their data collection and use, and avoid devices that are collecting more data than necessary. By being aware of the risks and taking steps to protect ourselves, we can start to build a safer, more secure smart home. One that's convenient, but also respectful of our privacy and security. So, have you ever had any issues with your smart home devices? Share your experiences in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos on tech safety and security. Thanks for watching.